I said it. I said it. Y'all need to give me my flowers. Let's talk about UFC 304. Hello guys, welcome to the episode. Let's have a conversation. UFC 304 has come and finally gone. I am so happy it's gone because I called it. I said I wasn't excited for this card. I said this card may be one of the weaker cards that the UFC has put on in 2024. I said it. I said it. I was not excited for this fight. For the card, this 304 card, because it looked like most of it was going to be snooze fest. And even the main event, which piqued my attention a little bit, I was only excited for 3 fights. I said I was excited for Paddy Pimblett versus Bobby Green because that, to me, was considered the people's main event. I was also excited, I was also looking forward to watching Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes because it was a rematch and there was a title on the line. And I was also looking to watch the main event, which was Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad for the UFC welterweight belt, just because a title was on the line. Besides that, I gave my reasons why I was not interested in watching this. I wasn't excited about the fights. You can check out my old video on it, episode 12, I believe. So without stressing too much, I want to dig into my thoughts on the 3 fights that I saw for the main event. 3 fights I mentioned in the past. I'm really just going to talk about them. That's all I'm going. That's all the reaction you're going to get from me regarding UFC 304. So let's dig into it. First off, Paddy Pimblett versus Bobby Green, King Green. I was excited for this fight. I actually was. You know, the call outs, all the little bad blood, whatever. It might have been manufactured bad blood, because I don't think there's a real story behind that fight, you know. But of course, when you add a little bit of bad blood into the promotion, it makes us tune in. So I was excited for that fight. That fight didn't go the way I thought it would go. Listen, I'm one of those people who isn't completely sold on Paddy Pimblett, and I'm still not sold on Paddy Pimblett. However, can we give Paddy his respect? Let's give Paddy Pimblett his respect. We have to. Look what he did. Went in there, stood his ground against Bobby Green, wasn't intimidated in any way. He was ready and he stood his ground with Bobby Green, always low, so you don't really see where the punches are coming from. Feints a lot, does a lot of showboating and shit talk. He's known to do that, right? And that's exactly what he was trying to do to Paddy. And at some point in the first round, when Bobby Green stood up to fight against Paddy, because at the end of the day, all fights start standing up. So Bobby, to me, at some point, was very uncomfortable in the, as a fight, in the striking. He was very uncomfortable. He wasn't really confident in his striking because Paddy was getting the better of him while they stood up. And I really did not expect that. So then Bobby goes in for a takedown. Paddy seizes the opportunity, locks in on a guillotine, and the rest, they say, was history. Paddy Pimblett slept Bobby Green, like literally put him in a triangle choke. First started from a guillotine choke, transitioned to a triangle choke, and completely choked out Bobby Green. Respect to King Green though. Bobby Green went out on his shield. My man did not tap. That's the most I'll say. Bobby Green did not tap. He took that L very well. And the ref had to come in to save him, but he was already asleep by then. You know, Paddy looked very sharp. Paddy looked very focused. And at this point, Paddy now has a number to his name. He's now ranked on the top 15. And I've mentioned this in the past that, the UFC, people claim that the UFC promotes certain fighters, right? But my argument is the UFC is not going to promote you if you cannot fight. And so far so good, Paddy Pimblett remains undefeated in the UFC. At this point, can we give him his flowers and can we give him his respect? Let us put some respect on Paddy the Baddy Pimblett's name at this point. Congratulations to Paddy the Baddy. Congratulations, bro. I was very impressed, And then his post-fight interview in the octagon, he dedicated the fight to a young kid who was passed on from cancer, which I thought was it was a very touching gesture. Paddy always has a good message at the end of his interviews, and it's been happening for the last couple of fights. Kudos to him, and he earns my respect, right? We'll see what's up for him. He's now in the top 15. We will see how it all plays out. Transition. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. I mentioned also in the past, I wanted to see this fight because I didn't like the way the first fight went between these two. And now the stakes are higher because Tom Aspinall is the UFC interim champion. Listen, guys, Tom Aspinall continues to amaze me. How on earth is someone that big? What is he, 6'4", 6'5"? 245, 250, 260 pounds? How the hell does that guy move like a damn lightweight? Like Tom Aspinall looked very sharp, very crisp, measured his distance very well, really incorporated his distance management, a lot of feints, a lot of takedown attempts, some blitz in and out. Maybe he Curtis Blaydes caught him maybe about twice in the entire fight. And it's like you knew the way Tom was fighting, that he wanted to make quick work of Curtis Blaydes. Like Tom Aspinall is so confident in his hands that he's willing to risk going in to the storm. He's willing to risk going into the storm to catch the tornado. What the fuck was that? Does that even make any sense? Whatever, Mr. TDC said it. Don't quote me on that. That's my word. Tom Aspinall was willing to go into the storm to catch the tornado. That makes no fucking sense. Listen, I might have smoked something. Listen, I might have smoked something before coming on here to talk about UFC 304. Listen, fuck out of here. My point is, back to the fight. Tom Aspinall was willing to receive, to give, because he was so confident that if he touches you with his hands, you are going down. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what size you are. I haven't seen that kind of confidence in your power since Francis Ngannou. Right? It's literally almost like the same attitude Francis Ngannou had in his fight versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Francis Ngannou didn't give a flying fuck. Francis went in there, hands swinging until one touched Jairzinho's head, and the rest was history. Same thing with Curtis Blaydes and Tom Aspinall. Tom goes in, very slick, lands a left, which, wobbles Curtis and takes him down. And then Tom goes to the ground for the finish. And the referee, I think it was Matt Goddard, jumped in there to save Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes, it looked like he had a little bit of a protest, but no, bro. These are heavyweights that are fighting. You have to be very careful when you have to find a balance between letting the fight go on for just enough time to see that the person who's being hit or the grounded opponent is not really defending effectively. With heavyweights, you don't play no games. Those guys pack power in their punches. So I think the ref did a very good call. Curtis, the ref made the right call for you. Sorry for the loss, bro. But Tom Aspinall, congratulations to you. I was so impressed with that one. Now, quick to the main event. I don't want to waste too much time today. To the main event, Belal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards 2. Weight championship of the world. Who's surprised by how this fight turned out? Like I said, I wasn't excited about this fight. I just wanted to watch it because of the title implications on the division. However, I have to give it to Belal. Belal showed zero respect for Leon Edwards' skills or Leon Edwards' power. He went in there, he looked very sharp, Belal. Belal didn't give any, there was really not much loopholes. The only thing I can point out is I never really, the only thing I can question about Belal's fight with Leon Edwards was how Belal would always get have a takedown position or a grappling position to his advantage, and then he'll dominate for a certain amount of time until Leon Edwards is able to overturn that and get on top of him. Leon was always able to reverse, for the most part, some of Belal's dominant ground positions. That's the only criticism. But from the moment the bell rang in round one, Belal put that pressure on Leon, walked him down, cut off the cage, no respect whatsoever. Cut off the cage, pushed him back to the fence, gets him to the fence, fakes and throws a few jabs and a few strikes, makes Leon think, Leon doesn't really know where the strikes are going to come from, and then Belal applies a level change, goes for the takedown. And I'm talking takedowns, bro. He gave Leon Edwards the Jessica Andrade versus Rose Namajunas slam. Literally, Belal went in, picked up Leon Edwards and crushed my dude crushed Leon's head on the canvas. Very dominant position. I think I gave that match, I will give it a 4-1. I gave Belal, I scored that fight for round 1, round 2, rounds 4 and 5 to Belal. I think Leon, I would give Leon round 3. You know? And by the third round, if I'm being honest, I saw in the look on Leon's face, it's the same look he had in the first fight with Kamaru Usman. Sorry, the second fight with Kamaru Usman, but their first title fight. The same look he had on his face. He was already drowning. He wasn't exactly confident. And then in the 5th round, towards the end, that's when Leon started, you know, pushing back, mounted Belal with some nasty ground and pound elbows. And I'm like, bro, are you doing that in the final round of a championship fight? The final seconds of the final round. You could have done that in round 3. You could have done that in round 4. Or did it seem like Leon Edwards was scared to waste too much energy in the earlier rounds, conserving his energy so he doesn't gas out? Because we know Kamaru Usman has exposed him for being able to, for gassing out if he's wrestling. I don't know what it was. Whatever the game plan Belal did, the Belal's team had a great game plan and it worked. And now we have a new welterweight champion. I'm not exactly excited for Belal being the champion, but I am happy for him. I'm not exactly excited that Leon lost the belt, but I am sort of pleased that the belt has changed hands. And there is some momentum, because I love momentum in any division. I love belts to change, right? Or, so when I say momentum, what I mean is this. I like champions to either be very active or title matches to happen at least 3 times a year in every division, across any gender. That's what I like. And it's happened in this division. So I'm pretty happy for Belal Muhammad. He said he was going to do what he was going to do. He went in there, executed to the T. He went in there and completely dominated a champion that I wouldn't say was really a dominant champion. Leon wasn't really a dominant champion, certainly wasn't an exciting champion either. I wasn't expecting any knockouts from that fight. But hey, listen, we got what we got, and let's be grateful, right? Last recap, last thing I'll say on the recap is Paddy Pimblett got a 200K bonus, and Tom Aspinall got a 100K bonus. And of course, as you know, the casuals, we have turned our back on Leon Edwards. We've gone in there. Leon fans are just completely ripping him apart online. Guys, it's not good to kick a man when he's down. So I'm not gonna be part of that set of people who are gonna rip Leon while he's down. He's still young. He's still a skillful fighter. We'll see where he goes from here. Certainly doesn't really deserve a rematch. I think he might need 1 or 2 more fights, right? And then position himself for another title shot. Hopefully, Belal might still be the champion there. Guys, tell me, who do you think is next for Belal? Who do you want him to fight in that division? I don't know, maybe Shafkat? Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But for Belal to have said, you know, one of his grimes with Leon was that Leon Edwards had a very difficult journey with consecutive wins, so many consecutive wins on his run to the title, and he wasn't given a shot. And Belal sort of found himself in that position as well, and he said that after the first fight with Leon, where Leon accidentally poked his eye, Leon refused to give him a rematch or title shot until he had to work his way and speak loudly enough until the UFC heard and could no longer deny him. And I'm with Belal on that one. That's a very valid argument, you know? So I don't think Belal will be willing to give Leon a rematch anytime soon. That's how I see it. I think Belal want to move on to fresh blood within the division. He has a lot of good names under his belt. I'm talking Vicente Luque, Damian Maia, Gilbert Burns, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Belal's taking all of them out. So we'll see. A lot of things playing up in that division. Usman is still in the mix right there. Shavkat is also in the mix. We'll see how this plays out, you know? Yeah. That's pretty much all I got. Got to keep it nice and short and brief, right? Because there wasn't really much to talk about that fight. So many decisions. It's been a long time I saw so many decisions on a PPV card. And a PPV card where it's 100K bonus. Yet we had this many decisions. That's my next video, but I gotta talk about that one. All right, guys, if you've been here this long, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. Just like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button, and engage. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Have a good weekend. Bye.